Friday! Ah! Woo! Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Let me just adjust myself over here. Welcome. Happy Friday. Friday night lights shining for you. I am so happy to be here. Thank you for coming. My name is Christelle Robinson-Tiedemann. I am a human design reader. I am a life coach, and I am the host of the Love and Meaning podcast. And on the Love and Meaning podcast, we discuss all things related to living a happiness forward life. It is a collection of personal life lessons and contemplations that are all about expanding who we are and stepping into a life that is filled with self-love and creating the meaning in our life. And this is Friday Night Live Dive. On Friday Night Live Dive, we bring the Love Meaning podcast to life. So all the concepts, all the different ideas that we discuss in the Love and Meaning podcast, we bring it to the group, we bring it to the community, and it's all about embodiment and living these concepts, making it real. So welcome in. Thank you for choosing to spend your Friday evening with me, to begin your weekend with me. And we'll just wait for some people to come in. Let me know who's here, who's hanging out, who's having a good Friday, who's feeling good. These are our Friday Night Live Dive lights. And how this works is, as you come in, I'd love it if you could say hello. Let me know who's here, and also let us know what it is that you are celebrating for this week. Pick something that you feel is an accomplishment, something that was a surprise, something that you deeply appreciate, that you're grateful for. What are you celebrating for this week? And then we will collectively add to the energy of that celebration for you. So what I am celebrating this week, I feel like everything looks insane. My hair, my lights. We're just going to roll with that. So what I am celebrating for this week is unexpected surprises. I have had a week full of unexpected surprises, and it's actually super fitting for the topic that we're going to discuss today. But sometimes there's something just a little bit extra sweet when things turn out in a way that are greater than you ever could have imagined, and it was so wholly unexpected. So I'm just celebrating being surprised and delighted by the universe and by the amazing, beautiful people in my life. So yay! What are you celebrating this week? Okay, I have a second celebration for this week, but I didn't want to say it until she was here, but I don't know if she's coming. But today is also Christelle's mom's birthday. It's Alana's birthday today. She's a very special part of this community. She's a very special part of my life. So I'm putting out extra love to the most amazing mother on the planet, who at 72 years old is still the most gorgeous woman in the room, in every room that she is in. Happy birthday to my mama. That's the extra special celebration. So yay! So what are you guys celebrating for this week? Let me know as you come in. I'm gonna just, don't mind me as now I understand why my camera looks so weird. Okay, sorry guys, technical difficulties. So the Love and Meaning podcast drops every Monday at 8 a.m. EST, and you can check it out on here on my YouTube page at Coaching with Cree. You can check it out on Apple Podcast, and you can check it out on Spotify. And then every Friday at 6 p.m. EST, we come here, we hang out, we dive deep, we bring the topics to life. How this works is that you're welcome to bring up any topic and ask any question from any episode of the podcast. You just type your question into the chat, type your comment into the chat, and I'll answer it. We can talk about it. But I usually focus on the episode that happened this week. So I'll have a topic ready to discuss, but I'm willing to take any questions that come up at any time. It's really the most fun when this can be an interactive process. So even if we're focusing on the topic that I'm going to dive into this week, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what's coming up for you. Let me know if it doesn't make sense. Let me know if it makes all the sense. Give me your own personal examples. It is the most fun if this is interactive. If you're watching on the replay, you can comment it afterwards, like right there, right in the comments, write questions, comments, anything that comes up, and I will be sure to respond to you. So welcome everyone. I'm really happy to be here. So this week we're doing a little something different. It's going to be a continuation from last week. So last week I discussed the podcast episode number 28, which was 3 bad habits that keep us stuck. And we dove into the first bad habit, and that was all about worrying. And I was like, this seems like it might be a multi-parter, and it's definitely a multi-parter. So I'm actually going to just break down all 3 of those in different live dives. So today we are going to actually dive into point number 3, a little out of order, but hey, I get to do whatever I want. So we're going to dive into number 3. Let me just, if I'm looking down, guys, this is, my chat is here and my notes are here. And so I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody's comments. So I have a backup here. And again, as you come in, say hello. Let us know what it is that you're celebrating for this beautiful week, and let us celebrate alongside you. Let me know your comments or questions, anything that's coming up for you, and we will dive into it. But today is a very special episode. We are going to continue with the 3 bad habits that keep us stuck. Last week we talked about worrying. Please check out that episode. It was awesome. Check out that live dive if you wanted to. If you know that you're a worrier or you grew up with a bunch of worriers, check that episode out. I think it created a lot of shifts for a lot of people. And we are going to continue with that today. We are going to continue with the sneaky deaky little habits that keep us stuck. And we're diving into number 3 that was actually in the podcast. And this is being stuck on the why. Being stuck on the why rather than moving into change. You know, the why did this happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? Why does this keep happening? How did this happen? That why. Being stuck on all of the whys and not moving forward. So I just want to, before I get into it. Okay, so there's no comments. Let me know who's here. Let me know what it is that you're celebrating. Okay, so being stuck on the why. Everybody has heard of that saying, everything happens for a reason, right? It's a pretty common saying. And here's the thing. We're going to set a context again for this topic. We're going to set a context for what it is that we're going to get into, so this really sinks in and makes perfect sense, okay? And here's the context. If you're here, if you listen to my podcast, if you're following along on this YouTube channel, if you're following along on my Instagram page, you're probably of the belief that we are more than just this meat suit that you see here. There is a universe, there is a higher intelligence, there is source energy at play in the world. And we are a spirit being inside of a human. And so I believe that my soul incarnated into this meat suit by choice, and it had every intention of experiencing life through me, through my humanness. And though I don't remember any of this with consciousness, I know that the aspect of me that is more is in full remembrance, is fully connected to that source energy with awareness. I believe, and if you're here, it's likely that you do too, that the universe, source energy, God, whatever it is that you like to call it, whatever it is that you believe in, has a much greater view than I do. So I see things through my human eyes like this, and source has this much larger view of understanding. So there are a lot of things that happen in life that I don't understand necessarily from a source level, but I trust and know that there is a greater knowing, there is a greater understanding, there is a greater power beyond what my human consciousness is able to perceive. And so when we have sayings like everything happens for a reason, it's really based on this at a source level, at a zoomed out level, at a greater universal stance. There's a reason. There is sense. And so when we say this, like this is where it comes from, everything happens for a reason. But in practicality, it's not actually that useful of a statement. If you just had the worst day of your life and someone just comes up to you and they're like, everything happens for a reason, sometimes you just want to punch them in the face. You know what I mean? Like, it's not actually that useful. It actually has like an energy sometimes that's like feels a little patronizing. And there's like an energy of blame. We often go into like, why did this happen? Like, what did I do that made this happen? So there's this energy of like everything happens for a reason, but like, what is it? And then we want to figure out what that is and put the blame on something. So it's really focused on like, what did I do to cause this? And it doesn't actually end up being that helpful. And I see people caught up and stuck in figuring out whys, probably more common. It's probably the most common stuckness that I see is really like, why did this happen? How could this happen? This always happens. And really stuck in this pattern of like trying to figure out like, what is the why for why I'm doomed in this way? And it doesn't even have to just be like when something terrible happens, but really just stuck in needing to find that reason that we know everything happens for. So here's where the reframe comes. This is one of my most favorite sayings I did not come up with this phrasing. This is by Melanie Ann Lair, and I just thought it was the most beautiful reframing for a truth that I already felt inside of me and I'd already moved towards. And this reframing of everything happens for a reason is, if this is happening for me, now what? So remember our context. We've already established that there is a higher power. Check. Done. We're not moving into that belief now. We have it. It's solid. There is more than us. We can't see the full view. This trust in that is already solid. If we trust in that, if we have a knowing that this is happening for me, this is happening for us, now what? It's a very similar saying to everything happens for a reason, but the energy of it is movement. The energy of it doesn't feel like blame. It feels more like, let's say, even for whatever reason, I'm the problem. It feels like, okay, there is a lesson to be extracted here. And then I will take that lesson and I will move forward. If everything is happening for me, if this is happening, this right now is happening for me, now what? The ease that I feel in that statement, it's far more empowering, right? Let me know if you agree. It's far more empowering. If this is happening for me, now what? Here's the thing. Yes, everything happens for a reason. But what if you're not supposed to know what that reason is yet? When I was a little kid with ADHD, struggling in school, getting in trouble and not even knowing half the time why the heck I was in trouble. I just was being myself, and next thing I knew I was in the the principal's office again, constantly, just jumping off the walls and everything, and just sit down, don't do this, do your homework. The constant redirection that was required. If you asked me why everything happens for a reason, why are you going through this? When I was 8 years old, when I was 12 years old, when I was 13 years old, when I just entered high school, you just asked me that, I could promise you I didn't see any value in it whatsoever. It was a damn nuisance. But now, as an adult, coaching people, working with patients as an occupational therapist, working in everything that is so passionate to me, that means everything to my heart, I am so grateful for the inside scoop experience I have of feeling different, of feeling out of place, of feeling wrong and not even understanding why, of being misunderstood. All of these things have helped me so much in my life experience now. But if you had asked me that reasoning then, I would have been like, huh? What do you mean? The curse? That's all I would have seen. But I wasn't meant to understand that then. I was meant to understand it now and apply it. And Val says, I'm here. Hi. What are you celebrating? Welcome. Thank you for spending your Friday evening with me. So, what if we were not meant to know the reasoning in the now? What if, in the statement, if this is happening for me, now what? What if the now what actually helps you figure out the why? What if the now what was the way to the why? I have the perfect example for you guys. So, my idea to start a podcast came to me about a year ago. Okay? About a year ago. And when I had the idea, I went to do some research. I watched some videos. I looked up some stuff. I even took a course. And one of the first things that all of these sources that I refer to suggested was that you need to know your why. Why do you want to start a podcast? Why do you want to do whatever this endeavor is that you want to do? And so the good student in me answered the question with some sort of fluff answer of I think the things I have to share will be helpful to people, which is true. But something in me didn't really feel like it was a sufficient response. I kind of just felt like I just want to do it. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to explain why, but I just want to do it. I feel this strong drive and I just want to do it. Soon after that, I started working with a one-on-one coach. Her name is Jess Fenton. She's fantastic. She started a group called Start and Grow Your Podcast. So I signed up for this group. I was absolutely perfect. And she was guiding us through the process of starting a podcast. And how she was guiding us, she introduced us to Gene Keys, the Gene Keys. And it's another profile system similar to human design. And she took us through aspects of our chart. And one of the things that she shared with me was that everything that you are going to be a success at, everything that you want to endeavor to, it has to start with you just desiring it. You have to want to do it for you. And I was like, oh my God, yes. the coming home feeling I felt from that, like it gave me immediate permission for the first time that I just got to want it because that's what I really actually connected with. I remember when I was in the group and we were in a Facebook, one of the groups I took, one of the classes I took before that group, about, starting out a podcast or starting out with whatever creative thing that you want to do. And they wanted us to put into the Facebook group to write down your whys. And there's all this like, I want to change the world, and I wanted to, like, all of this stuff was coming, and I remember not even writing it into the group because I felt I felt embarrassed and ashamed to just write, I just really want to. Like, it didn't seem sufficient to just really want to, and then you just do it. So when I was taught by my coach that whatever it is that you want to do, whatever you're going to be wildly successful at, you just want to start by doing it for you, and then it will be for everyone else. And that was the permission that I needed, and I went forward with it. That was 6 months later. 6 months later is when I finally was like, okay, I'm doing this podcast. And so I started my podcast. And I had no idea exactly why I wanted to do it. I just knew that it felt freaking amazing. One of my first episodes, and one of the episodes that I've been most engaged with, is me flying high, just saying, I don't know what it is, but I turned the mic on and my entire being was on fire. Like, I just felt lit up from the inside. Like, I'm just meant to do this. I'm just meant to do this. Fast forward to this Monday. So we are over 6 months into the podcast. I'm loving it. I get great feedback. People engage. You guys show up here. It's going amazing. I have all these other ideas and things that I'm endeavoring to do. Same kind of feeling. I just feel it. There's something that's coming up that I will be sharing with you guys soon. And I just felt it. I don't know why, but I want to do it and I'm going to create it. Fast forward to Monday, my mastermind. I had a mastermind group where I was supposed to present something to everyone, and only one person showed up. I asked myself this same question: if everything is happening for me, now what? The now what is, I'm going to have an amazing call with this mastermind. If only one person showed up, it's what was meant to be, and this is going to be absolute perfection one way or another. I'm excited to see what the universe has in store for me. Went through my mastermind. Because there was only the two of us on the call, at the end of the call, we just started to have a chat, a casual chat. And just in passing, one of my mastermind group members said, "Oh yeah, that's just like your gift of synchronicity." I said, "My what?" "Your gift of synchronicity. You know, how like every time I tune into one of your podcast episodes, it's exactly what I want to hear. I needed to hear that. Every time I show up on one of the Friday Night Live dives, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed to hear today. Thank you." The way that you are in our mastermind, your gift of synchronicity. My brain, my mind, my heart, my soul, everything freaking exploded. My gift of synchronicity? I know that a lot of people, when they tune in, they say things like, oh my gosh, that was exactly what I needed to hear. Wow, like that's just so pertinent to what's going on in my life. I get a lot of those messages. But never in my mind did I think it was me. She was like, oh yeah, no, it's you. So this desire out of absolutely nowhere that I didn't know the reason why, other than I just wanted to start the podcast. Gift of synchronicity. Whoever needs to hear what I'm having to say will find it at the exact right time. Starting Friday Night Live Dive, people tuning in and being like, what the heck? It's exactly what I wanted to hear. Gift of synchronicity. The treasure that I have coming for you guys, it's literally centered around my gift of synchronicity. But there's no way that I could have known this 6 months ago. I was meant to discover this in the exact way that I did, in the most beautiful way that I did. It felt like one of the most heart-connected moments of my life, to be surprised and delighted and to already be doing the thing that apparently your gift called you to. That was the way that I was supposed to figure out my why. But if I needed to know that before, there would be no podcast. There would be no Friday Night Live Dive. There would actually be no mastermind. The why was supposed to come after. The fact that it even took me 6 months to start was a perfect example of the stuckness, the stalling, because this is all about stalling, needing to know why, stalling. All of that was because I didn't have a good enough reason, until I realized the reason just gets to be because I decided. So over 6 months in the making to get to my why. And if I had waited for it, none of the beautiful gifts that I'm experiencing right now would have even occurred. Okay? Let all that sink in. I'm celebrating getting all my chores done today, as I have a very exciting day tomorrow with someone special. I love that. Woohoo! I can't imagine who that someone special is. That's amazing. My aunt and I have a date tomorrow. So let that all sink in. If this is happening for me, now what? And the reason gets to come in time. So why would we rather stall? Why would we rather stay stuck on the why rather than move into movement? This is the ultimate question now. Why do we rather stay stuck on the why? And let's be serious and let's be honest. There are a whole lot of people who would prefer to be stuck in their same patterns than answer the question that comes with what now? We can all be honest with ourselves. It is a whole lot easier to be stuck in, why me? Why does this happen? Why does this keep happening? And then continue the exact same pattern to come back to, why me? Why does this keep happening? Why did this happen? And continue with the same pattern and come back to. That is a lot easier than answering the question of what now. What now involves the unfamiliar. This is a recurring theme that we come back to. What now involves the unfamiliar. Unsafe equals unfamiliar, not what is actually not safe. What now involves experiencing uncomfortable emotions that we would rather not experience, so much so that we would rather experience a different uncomfortable emotion that we're used to. Why me? Why is this happening? Here we are again. Why? But it's familiar. Being stuck in the why, being stuck in the pattern is easier than asking ourselves, okay, here I am. I don't freaking know why I keep doing this, or I don't even know why, for example, with podcasts, I have the nudge to do this. But what now? I do it. But what now? I change. But what now? I get the support that I need. Or why? Why is this happening? Why does this keep happening? What now involves who might I have to be now? Who might I have to be now? I might have to be a person who takes ownership over their life. I might have to be somebody who takes ownership over the fulfillment in their life. Is it my job's responsibility to fulfill me? Is it my spouse's or my partner's responsibility to fulfill me? Is it my child's responsibility to fulfill me? Who might I have to be now? I might have to be a person who is single. On my own, doing my own thing, making my own plans and direction for my life. Seems a little bit easier at times to say, why? How did I get here? How do I keep ending up here? How do I keep ending up in this pattern with these people, with the same person, the same type of partner? I don't know. But what now? Who might you have to be now? That's different. A person who is a beginner at something. Again, maybe at any age. Half of the fear and the reason around starting the podcast, starting my own business is like, I'm in my late 30s. Aren't I supposed to like have it all figured out now? Isn't everything supposed to just be handed to me at this point? What do you mean go back to the beginning and start new? I went to school, I got a degree. I'm supposed to be at the done level of things. Like we're supposed to be done learning after we finish school, right? Isn't that why school ends then? That's it. Done. School's done, learning done. What the heck? I have to be a beginner? I have to be like, I don't know how to do that. I'm not good at that. Yes, because there is no age cap on learning. I don't even know who invented that. But it sure as heck was not for your happiness, your fulfillment, and for the betterment of humankind. Who might you have to be now? A person with boundaries? A person who knows how to say no? A person who actually says what they need from other people? A person who asks for what they want? Rather than, how did this happen to me? Why do I keep ending up here? People keep treating me unfairly. Where's the respect I deserve? I thought I would have earned this. A person who asks for what it is that they want. A person who moves towards what it is that they want rather than just what has shown up. Who might you have to be now? It is, in reality, when we're honest with ourselves, often a lot easier to stay stuck in the complaint mode of, or the discovery mode, the forever discovery mode of why. And until I know the answer to why, I'm going to stay exactly where I am. And let's be serious, half the time we're not actually trying to figure out why. The why is just fluff words. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not. But even then, let's just say the why that you're trying to figure out is why I have such a hard time in romantic relationships. And I feel broken, and until I am fully healed, this dream of mine will never come true. And so it feels daunting, and you stay right where you are. Or I don't know why, but I'm going to get the assistance that I need, and I'm going to start moving towards what it is that I want. I want to be in a relationship. So maybe I don't know why, but if I know I want to be in a relationship, I can learn how to be in a relationship. There are courses out there. There are coaches out there. There's therapy. There are ways. We can move towards the desired thing, and you want to bet that while on your way there, the whys start filling in. Wow, I actually never saw an example of a healthy relationship. It's a pretty good why for being nervous about that. None of those questions actually have to stop us from moving forward, but it is actually more comfortable to stay in our stuck discovery of whyness, or the victim mentality of why does this happen to me, then okay, here I am. If this is happening for me, if me finding myself in this cycle, this is the fourth relationship that's ended in the exact same way, for example. If this is happening for me, now what? There is a lesson for me to learn here. I don't like blank. Clearly, it doesn't feel good. So I'm going to take the steps to move towards being in healthy relationships. If I'm continuously unfulfilled in my career, I'm going to take the steps to figure out how to feel fulfilled in that. There is always a move forward, but it takes being new, being uncomfortable, being a beginner, being unsure, being embarrassed maybe, and fear. But everything always seems to come down to being able to hold a wide range of human emotion, be able to carry yourself through all of these emotions and move forward. This is what the work always comes down to. If we're not avoiding that uncomfortable feeling, if we're not avoiding the unfamiliar because we know we've got us, not that it's not going to be scary or uncomfortable, but we know we've got us. We'll do what we got to do to hold ourselves. Then we move forward. There is no stuckness. There's just a new way. So let me know what has come up for you from all of that. What stuck out to you? Where do you relate? Because I know all of us can relate to this in one way or another. I have endless examples for myself. I think actually every example that I mentioned, I relate to myself. A huge one for me is money. Why do I keep ending up in the same financial pattern? Why? Why wasn't I taught finances growing up? I don't know. But can you learn now? It felt really scary to learn something entirely new that I felt very not confident at. I don't even know if I can trust myself with this. Well, here's how we find out. Here we go. And I cried my way through it. I tapped my way through it. Dude, tapping. EFT, emotional freedom technique. Breath worked my way through it. And I've come a long way. I got a long way to go still. But I was stuck in that, I don't know why, for decades. Avoiding the uncomfortable feeling of being out of my depths, of feeling embarrassed, of feeling like I should know this, of feeling anxious. It like literally brought up anxiety. Guess what? I can handle being embarrassed, guys. I can handle being anxious. I can handle the anxiety. I can handle all of those emotions because I carried myself through it. Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf. What an awesome name. I absolutely love that name. Hi, welcome. What's it mean to be always anxious all the time with a guy? Like all of a sudden, just boom, he makes you anxious. I mean, I don't know. There could be a lot of different reasons. There could be a lot of different reasons. I probably need a lot more context. But if you find yourself always anxious, I would ask myself, is there something, is there some sort of knowing inside of me that I haven't been listening to? Is there something that your instincts are telling you? Is there something of a red flag that you're just completely ignoring? Or if it's a situation where you have a pattern of always dating a certain type of guy, and then for the first time you're trying something entirely new and you're not used to interacting with people in a way like this, maybe even in a healthy way, it can feel totally dysregulating. It depends. Thanks, Christelle. Glad that the name is all right. That's awesome. I love werewolves. I don't know if you know, but my absolutely favorite TV show of all time is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I'm all about werewolves, vampires, all of that stuff. But if you want to give a little more context, maybe I can help you to understand it. Really? Wow, everyone usually makes fun of me for liking Buffy. She said same. Awesome. Wow. You see, I definitely attract the right people. You are in the right space. So yeah, if you want to give a little bit more context, I can help you to try to see what's going on. Anytime that we're moving into something that feels unfamiliar, new, even if it is good, a good thing for us, a change for us, it brings up all kinds of emotions. Sometimes one of the reasons that we avoid doing a lot of things is because while we're moving through it, we are confronted with our own feelings about ourselves, our self-esteem, our confidence, our self-awareness. We're all of a sudden being confronted with things that we've been avoiding for a long time. And it feels like, you know what, I would just rather not deal with this. Let me just forget it. But we would much rather show up in our life in a conscious way. That's how your life doesn't just happen to you. It's something that you create. Also, he was different. Like, I knew he was stressing with life, but suddenly he made me anxious. Shaking inside inners, it was so strange. Wow. What I will suggest to you, I don't I think I'd need to have more information to be able to really help you out with that. And please know, everyone, that in the show notes, there are the links to my coaching. You can do one session. We can go all the way to 3 months. But if you'd like one-on-one assistance, like, go ahead and click on the link in the show notes. But what this sounds like, I'm hearing shaking hands, innards, your nervous system is reacting. And somatic work has been, if we want to get into the how, like, how do we actually move into the unfamiliar and hold ourselves? How do we actually move ourselves through emotions that we're not used to and hold ourselves? Somatic work. You cannot skip it. This is the breath work. This is the tapping. And I have found that I would not say that I have big T trauma that I can think of. There have been traumatic things. Every single person has trauma. There have been traumatic things in my life. And there are things that have left me with more scars versus others. And even not having big T trauma, I have done trauma work that has been absolutely life changing. One of my favorite courses, this is by Sharzad Paranday, is called Inner Dawn. And that course taught me all about what my trigger response is. So, is it possible that when you are triggered, something happened with this guy that you got triggered, and your natural response might be flight? If you're feeling like the shaking, it sounds like adrenaline is rushing to your limbs, telling you to get the F out of there. So, identifying, like, what are my trigger responses and what was the thing that triggered? And if you can figure out what the thing was that triggered you, then you can kind of dive into and see what happened from there. Understanding our triggers are gifts, guys. Like, our triggers are gifts. Yes, it's uncomfortable, and I'm so glad that we're finally, I think, as a collective, moving away from this don't trigger me, that triggers me, don't do it. The whole idea is not for you to be a landmine and everybody else is supposed to avoid stepping on all of the mines, like that, all of the explosives. That's not how that's supposed to work. When you get triggered, it is a learning opportunity. You show up for yourself, for your nervous system, you hold yourself, you process, you give yourself what you need, and be able to hold yourself through that experience the same way that you would take care of a little kid. You care for your inner child in that moment. And then you look into, okay, there's a lot of information here. What happened? They are gifts to help us to really dive deep. So, with everything that I shared today, all of this only works, okay? This only works if we're willing to move. So this lesson is going to fall flat. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not even going to be helpful to you if we're not willing to move. Moving away. Thank you, Christelle. Thank you, Christabel. That's so sweet. Followed you on Insta. Oh, that's wonderful. Welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. New follower. Woo! If you want to share what you're celebrating for this week, we will Friday night lights you. So we have to be willing to move, okay? Don't let this just be one of those things that goes in your ear and right out the other. What if this is happening for me? If everything is happening for me, now what? We have to be willing to move. We've all heard the saying, no decision is a decision. It's very true. Not doing anything is a decision. We're choosing to remain where we are. So we have to be willing to be uncomfortable. We have to be willing to try something new. If we go back to the context from the beginning, knowing that there is more than just us that's in this meat suit, we have to start trusting a bit in source. I can't see from my human perspective right now, but I know that there is a much greater force at work here. So what am I going to do? We have to be willing to take responsibility. There is a reason that radical self-responsibility is at the core of everything that I'm teaching. We have to be willing to take ownership. Or we have to be willing to own that we don't want to move, and then we just stay stuck. Just own. Own that you're going to stay stuck and that you like it. Hi, sorry I'm late today. I just got home. I'm celebrating my birthday. I will celebrate for a whole week. Heck yeah! Don't worry, Mom. Everyone, if you didn't hear in the beginning, it is my gorgeous mother's birthday today, and we were celebrating. We celebrated you before you came because I wasn't sure when you were going to come. So sending you all the love and blessings for another 40 years. You got this in you. I hope that you had the most amazing day. Mwah! Happy birthday. Yay! So you're going to have to catch the replay. So that's what we're called to today. If this is happening for me, now what? This is empowering. This is not any victim stuff. And it's also not any blaming stuff. Blaming, berating, that keeps you right where you are. And actually, that's what we're talking about next week. So next week, we're going to finish out the 3 sneaky bad habits that keep us stuck. And that's the other one. That just hammering yourself down and thinking that that's going to make you move. No. Why is this happening to me? Why? I don't know. And if you don't know, it's okay. But guess what? That doesn't stop you. If everything is happening for you, now what? And then you make a decision, and then you make a move. And you save everybody else in your life from all the belly aching. I'm kidding. Well, actually, go ahead to my show notes and we can make it official. You can come and belly ache to me all you want in coaching. No, we're not doing belly aching. We're making moves. But you have to make the first move. On a serious note, if you really do want assistance with this, if you want guidance with identifying where are these patterns that you find yourself just cycling through over and over and over again, I understand that it can feel really difficult. Even when we are so uncomfortable, we can be really hurting from our own patterns and still choose to stay in that familiar pain rather than a new, uncomfortable, unknown emotion. It can be hard, especially if it's like you've been doing this for 20-something years. So if you want assistance and guidance with moving through these patterns, moving forward, deciding that you get to do things different. It's totally okay to be a beginner. It's totally okay to be uncomfortable, to be able to hold yourself, to be able to process emotions and hold them in your body and be able to move forward with the full range of human emotions. None of them are bad. We are meant to experience them all and still get to do everything that we want. It would be my absolute pleasure to help you through this. But you've got to choose you first. Even us choosing coaching, choosing to go to therapy, these are making moves. Choosing to pick up that book, choosing to come onto channels like this. That's making the move. And that's on us to do for ourselves first, and then everything gets to help us. By the way, I'm 21 and in the Pacific Northwest US. Welcome. Oh my gosh, 21 years old. If I was 21 partaking in anything like this, I am blown away and so impressed with you, Charlotte. I'm Friday Night Lights for you, girl. What? Wow, now that's impressive. That's impressive. Good for you. What I could have done with a little dose of some serious inner work at 21. But again, if this is happening for me, now what? Every single thing that happened to me in my past, all the horrible decisions that I made, all the mistakes that I made, I value every single one. Every difficult thing that I've been through, I value it because I've been able to extract the lesson. None of it is a loss. It actually just makes me more relatable. It makes me have great examples. It makes me be able to understand people. It makes me able to be compassionate for clients. It's only been beneficial when I choose to make it that way. Sadly, gotta go. See y'all around. Bye. Thank you for hopping in. Loved the stream. Oh, that means so much to me. So that is your challenge for this week. Let's check ourselves. Where have we been staying stuck? A sneaky, sneaky way of staying stuck because we're so fixated on why does this happen? Why does my husband do this? Why do I keep ending up in a position like this at my job, at every job I've ever had? Why does this keep happening to me? Why? Or I have an entire drive to do something, I have I don't know what, because that's what my podcast felt like. I don't know why, but I just want to do it, but I don't know why, and not letting that stop you. You will figure it out on the way. Everything is happening for you. So now what? You are fully supported and loved by the universe. From a place of knowing you're fully loved and supported by the universe, what are you going to do at this time? What decision are you going to make? How are you going to move forward? No more stuck. And if we choose to stay in the same place, we're going to choose it consciously. But we're not going to pretend that we don't have an awareness that our indecision is a decision. This is my challenge for you. Feel free to share your thoughts. Let me know how it's working out. Let me know any examples that came up for you, or if this was helpful, where it was helpful. How did you resonate? What resonated? What didn't resonate? I would absolutely adore to hear from you. Thank you, everybody, for showing up on a Friday evening and hanging out with me. I hope you have the most wonderful weekend ahead. Happy birthday to the world's greatest mother on the planet. She made me. Of course, she's fantastic. Happy birthday, Mama. Sending love to everybody for all of your celebrations that I didn't hear. Happy celebrations. Woo! I'm sending you so much love. Check out the podcast Monday, 8 a.m. EST. Oh my gosh. I didn't even let you guys know. So on Monday will be the final episode of the Love and Meaning podcast, the first season. So this season is coming to a close. So you'll have lots of time in between seasons to catch up on old episodes, catch up on the old Friday Night Live dives if you haven't. Time for a nice binge-worthy time. This Monday coming is going to be the last episode of season 1, and next Friday will be the last Friday Night Live dive of season 1. But don't worry, we'll be back after a brief break, but just giving you guys a heads up. Please tune in. I would love to see you. I would love to hear your comments. Put your comments into the chat. Write your questions and your comments right onto the platform, wherever it is that you're listening. And I will be happy to answer it on Friday. But it would really mean the world to me if everybody would come and hang out on Friday as we close season 1. And I will have a special surprise for everyone. So I will see you next week. Check out the episode on Monday. I love you. Have a wonderful weekend. Ciao, ciao.